a great day for America. People all over filled with immense pride, and the people here in Chicago entering the United Center for round two, the conference semifinals. Best of 7, the Atlanta Hawks, upset winners over the Orlando Magic in 6 games, take on the Chicago Bulls, the #1 seed, who eliminated the Pacers in 5. And it'll be second-year point guard Jeff Teague, who did not play much in round #1, and he'll have the tough assignment of starting out on Derrick Rose. And for the Chicago Bulls, they had an injury question. Carlos Boozer, suffering the turf toe, is practiced and ready to go after a subpar series against the Indiana Pacers.
How big were the offensive rebounds down the stretch of the last Orlando game?
Teague lofts it in. Atlanta, the 5th seed, knocking off the Orlando Magic in 6 games and playing very well in the process. Williams hits. Marvin Williams, who Tom Thibodeau called one of the most underrated players in the league. Thibodeau, by the way, getting his Coach of the Year award prior to this game. Johnson hits the 3. And this is Atlanta's biggest lead this season against Chicago. They won the first time they played them by 3.
There's the block shot by Josh Smith.
So Smith gets the block, and Smith lost the ball and ends up with a layup, and no one picks him up underneath. Feed inside, Horford. And Noah defending, and Horford gets the basket. The 2 former teammates in back-to-back NCAA championship years in Florida battling underneath.
We saw a bunch of passes that time. We saw Dang with the penetration, the little floater in front of the rim.
Teague fires it up and hits. Teague with the field goal. Bogan swings it in, and it's tipped up by Dang for the field goal. Dang has all 6 Chicago points with under 6 to go in the first. And again, Joe Johnson puts it up and hits. So the Atlanta Hawks shooting over 60% to start this game. Repost to Boozer. Double teamed on the baseline, leaving Bogans open for 3, and he can do that. Besides his toughness and defensive play, doesn't play a lot, starts, he can hit the 3. 7-point lead. And Brewer in the game lays it in. Ronnie Brewer has been bothered by a sprained left thumb. And here is Joe Johnson with the fake. Johnson for a 2-point field goal. And Joe Johnson now with 7, leading scorer for the Hawks, up again by 9.
You know, they like to give the ball to Crawford.
Spent his first 4 seasons with the Bulls, and here's Crawford off the glass, gets the field goal with less than 2 seconds to play in the first quarter. Here is Damian Wilkins, and leaves it out open for Dang. It's a 3-on-2 for the Bulls, and it's swatted away, but a foul is called.
See the penetration in transition, and right there as he goes by, probably Crawford reaching in from the side. Is this the same Atlanta team that was on the floor that night? Does it even resemble the same team?
Totally different than what we've seen. Watson hitting a 3, and maybe that will get the Bulls out of their doldrums. C.J. Watson with a 3-pointer, and the lead is 8. And here's a 3 hit by Brewer. So Brewer and Watson, the backup guards, both hitting 3s. And here is Williams against Taj Gibson, who blocks it into the hands of Watson. Korver is in the game. Watson with the lay-in, and the crowd into the game for the first time tonight. And there is a field goal by Joe Johnson.
When you talk about offensive rebounds, Chicago gets their share of opportunities.
There's a 3. Gibson lays it in. Josh Smith throws it into the hands of Korver. Here is Rose. Rose finally gets on the scoreboard with under 5 minutes to go in the first half.
I think Tom Thibodeau knew exactly when to bring Rose back into the game. You think Rose was a little upset sitting on the bench all those minutes? He only has 13 minutes thus far in the first half.
On 1 for 8 shooting, and Jamal Crawford with the fall away. Crawford averaging 20 in that first round, and the lead again is 7. Here's Jamal Crawford off the glass, and that shot is working for the Hawks in this half.
And see what happens when Teague normally comes out. You've got Crawford that runs the point. There's another turnover for Chicago.
And Teague lays it in. Korver threw it to an open space, and the Hawks took advantage of it.
You go back to when they lost 83-80 to Atlanta. 17 turnovers. We see Rose hit the 3-pointer, but 17 turnovers in that game for Chicago, which led to 18 points for Atlanta.
Here's Korver with a quick 3, and he's got it. And this is the closest the Bulls have been since the opening basket of the game. Here's Dang. And the lead is 1. 5 on the shot clock, 45 seconds to go in the quarter, and Joe Johnson hitting a 2. Stops the bleeding for the moment, and the lead is 3 with 13 points for Johnson. And Dang driving in again. That draw goes. Luol Deng, 17 first half points. Crawford driving around. Korver scoops it in. Great shot by Crawford, who has 9. 3-point game. Rose feeding Boozer. Gets the basket. 51-50. And Teague fires it up. An air ball. Bulls close well, don't they?
Yeah, and that's a tough guy to shoot it over. You see Rose in penetration, transition opportunity. Larry Drew may take a quick timeout. You don't like the feel of the game right now for Atlanta. Watch Derrick Rose, how hard he works. He's playing defense on a closeout. Teague tries to take him to the basket. He defends him, challenges, changes the shot. Right at that moment, he's there, but he's got to get way up to here to an outlet area to receive the ball and start the fast break. He comes from out of bounds after challenging it, sprints up, then to the sideline, takes a deep outlet pass, then attacks the offensive rim. Tremendous job that time by Derrick Rose. Defense switching to offense in a hurry.
Johnson hemmed in with 3 on the shot clock, and Johnson hits a 3, and it couldn't come at a more opportune time for the Hawks. And Derrick Rose spinning his way in. And the Derrick Rose show may just be beginning. Horford defending Boozer. And Boozer with a good move inside. Boozer relatively quiet in this game. Now has 6 as the Bulls open up their biggest lead of 4. Horford has 3 fouls. And Boozer, second time he's made a good move inside. Here's Jamal Crawford hitting. So Crawford hitting, and the Hawks just 3 for 10 so far in this third quarter, trailing by 3. Boozer falls away. Boozer having a big third quarter, 10 points in the game. Again, it's a 5-point lead. Great feed from Boozer to Noah. Noah keeping Horford at bay with 3 on the shot clock. Double team. Here's Joe Johnson, big basket. And Joe Johnson, 3 for 3 from the field. Here's Horford open. Al Horford.
He's an excellent 18-foot jump shooter.
Teague going in. Rose gets a piece of it, and Boozer getting the rebound. Hawks have a foul to give here, and here is Brewer fouled. And that was a hard foul as Brewer and Kurt Thomas go to the floor. And Joe Johnson with the basket and the foul, and a chance for the 3-point play that would give the Hawks the lead. Derrick Rose working his way in, lofts it, and it drops. Derrick Rose now with 13. Hawks are leading by 4, and here is Teague with a floater. And Jeff Teague now on a 17-5 run, going back to the third quarter, and a timeout called by the Bulls.
If you have the ball in your hands 45 minutes during the game, big 3 that time by Crawford, then you're going to turn it over more than a guy who only handles the ball 10 minutes a game.
Here's Rose trying to get his team back in. That's the way to do it with a field goal, and Rose now with 15. Ball batted out to Rose. Passes up the 3. Wins his way in. Gets the tough lay-in. Rose now with 17. Now it's Crawford driving in. Pachulia with another lay-in. Again, a 9-point lead for the Hawks, trying to spring a big upset in game number 1. Crawford back to Johnson for 3. Joe Johnson, his 5th 3-point basket. And Dominique Wilkins, who played for you, is excited as the Hawks have opened up their biggest lead of the game. Dang, crossing the lane. Has 21 points. Rose. Noah with the lay-in. 8-point lead. Rose has it. And Derrick Rose puts it through.
Look, denying, not letting him have it back, and then anticipating from the weak side, Derrick Rose gets the steal and finishes.
Rose has 19 points now. And Josh Smith, and it was Joe Johnson with the field goal, 32 points. Let's check in with David Aldridge.
Guys, remember, it was just about a year ago. Joe Johnson was booed off his home court at Phillips Arena in Atlanta as the Hawks were humiliated by Orlando in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Joe Johnson said this year he's thought about that series a lot, He's positioned himself to get in the playoffs, and he wants to seize the moment. I'd say he's doing a good job right now.
Crawford unable to get a shot off, puts it over Korver. Tough shot by Jamal Crawford, who has 16. Smith will shoot over Noah and hit Josh Smith. And the Hawks have outscored the Bulls 6-2 since that timeout by Larry Drew, and it's back to 10 points. Korver quickly back to Noah, puts it through. Great touch pass by Korver.
That's why you can't gamble in the backcourt.
Joe Johnson with the field goal. Joe Johnson now with 34 points. 10 here in the fourth quarter. Here's Rose for three, and that's why there's plenty of time left as Derrick Rose with his second three, and Horford from Josh Smith. It was open underneath, and Horford now with 9. 6 on the shot clock. Crawford steps back for three, a big one. Jamal Crawford with a three-point basket, and it's an 11-point lead as we get down to a minute to go. And the Bulls want a timeout. Here's Boozer, and deflected. Horford got a piece of it. Korver stepping back for three and hits. Kyle Korver hitting a three-point basket. Rose, two-point basket. And the Atlanta Hawks are going to prevail, and Rose comes up limping. Derrick Rose is hobbling as the game ends. Sprained an ankle against the Indiana Pacers. And right now, a double whammy for the Bulls, who lose the game at home. Trail 1-0, and their star hobbling on the court as the game ends.